Alright, here we go. We're back from a little hiatus. We're going to hit it hard from now till the test. So let's see what we got. All these things are going to be very specifically geared towards the ACT. You know, there is some overlap, but we're really going to try to hit stuff, harder stuff maybe that comes up on an ACT. So let's see what we got here. We're going to do a little trigonometry. We have sine plus cosine squared plus sine minus cosine squared equals something. And they give us some answers, and let's see what we can do with this one. So, you know, those of you guys that are in pre-calculus that have gone through all these trig identities and all that, you know, there's a slew of them. The ACT is not going to test a slew of them. They're going to test two of them, big time two of them. One of them is this one. Sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. And they can not only test that, but they can move this around, right? So let's say, for example, we know that's true, and I move the cosine squared to the other side. I just subtracted it, right? I would have sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. So sometimes you see it in that form, you know? And likewise, if they move the sine squared over to the other side, you would see this as well. So pretty much on the ACT, if you see something involving sine squared or a cosine squared, I have no doubt that they are trying to do something with that identity. That's one identity. The other identity you want to make sure you definitely know is that tangent, right, is the sine over the cosine. And likewise, you want to get technical, you have to know that cotangent is just the flip of that, which is just cosine over sine. So we want to make sure we have those down cold. They're not going to give it to you, so you want to make sure you know that. Now let's look at what we have here. You know, and you have to be careful. You know, I think one of the things that throws people off is they see the sine, the cosine, they get very nervous, they don't know what to do. It's just really algebra. I mean, this is no different than if it's a plus b squared or x plus y squared. So just do what you would normally do. And one thing you definitely don't want to do, right, is if we're adding, we don't want to just distribute the two. If we're adding or subtracting in those parentheses, we've got to expand this thing. So this is really, right, it's really sine x plus cosine x times sine x plus cosine x. So we're going to have to FOIL that out. We can do that pretty quickly. Spare you some of that excitement. 2 sine x cosine x plus cosine squared. Right, now when you look at that, you know, I mean, some of you might recognize that, which is just the double angle formula. That's really just sine 2x. They're not going to test that, so they're not really looking for that. But what they are looking for, to see if you know this, sine squared plus cosine squared, which, that's 1. So when we expand all that, I'm just going to put this over here. This is really just, I can take this and this, combine them and just make it 1. So really I'm just looking at 1 plus 2 sine x cosine x. You know, so that is just that. Now let's deal with this. Let's expand that. So it's sine x minus cosine x, sine x minus cosine x. And if we do all that, again, we can FOIL it out. I'll spare you some of that excitement. And we're just going to get that. And you can probably see what's going to happen here. You have a sine squared and you have a positive cosine squared again, so that's just 1. So really now that right term there is just going to be what? 1 minus 2 sine x cosine x. And because we're just adding those two things, probably see that if it's positive 2 of those and negative 2 of those are just going to go away. From there we could probably handle it. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I think there you go. I think when you see this, you know, if you saw this and you still had nothing, you knew nothing, you're like, I don't know. If I saw sine, cosine with some squared stuff, I would tend to guess, you know, 1, 2, something like that. That's really all they can go for. They can't go for anything else.